I was standing at the boarding gate, my bags were checked in, I had my tickets in my hands, and my whole life was literally packed into suitcases. I was ready to start my new chapter in the UAE. And then the assistant at the boarding gate, she looked at me and said, "Flights to the UAE are cancelled." So this is a story of how my UAE move turned into a complete mess and what I'm doing now to rebuild. Before I get into what happened, let me give you some context on who I am. My name's Abs. I'm 26 years old. I'm one of the youngest Principal DevOps Engineers in the UK. And I'm also the founder of CoderCo, a tech education community on Skool. And since we've started, we've helped over 100 people land their first tech jobs. We also won the Skool games. And when Alex Hormozy reviewed our community, he was genuinely shocked at how low our churn was. None of that came about through luck. That's what happens when you build something real, right? When the numbers are actually getting results, when people are landing jobs, getting raises, changing their lives, they don't leave, they stay and they tell others. So yeah, I've built something I'm proud of, but this video isn't about flexing. No, it's about what happens when life doesn't go to plan. And I don't usually share these things online, but I'm going to share everything I do is for my family. I'm one of 7, 6 siblings. I'm not the oldest, but I carry weight in this family, we all do. And after Allah, everything I have, every bit of drive, every late night, every sacrifice, it goes back to my parents. My mum and dad gave us everything. They came to this country with nothing and built a life for us. So when I work, I'm not just working for me. I'm working so my younger siblings have options, so my parents can actually rest, so the next generation has a head start. That's why the UAE move mattered so much to me. It wasn't about the lifestyle, it wasn't about the supercars and the marina apartments that a lot of people move out there for. For me, it was about building something bigger for them. So why the UAE specifically? Let me break it down. So one of the first main things that a lot of people move out there for is tax efficiency. When you're running a business, keeping more of what you earn matters. It means you can actually reinvest, you can hire, you can build faster. The UK takes a lot from you, the UAE doesn't. Another thing is lifestyle. But not the flashy kind. I'm talking about freedom, the ability to work from anywhere, good weather, clean streets, right? You want to be able to breathe. Third thing is family. The UAE is built for families, schools, safety, community. When I think about the future, kids, inshallah, at some point, I want them growing up somewhere with values. Number 4 is safety. The UK isn't what it used to be. Crime, theft, certain areas you just don't feel safe. In the UAE, you can leave your car unlocked. Your family can walk alone at night. That matters. Another thing is work. The tech scene is growing in the UAE. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, there's opportunity out there. Remote work is accepted. The time zone works for Europe and Asia, so it just makes sense across the globe. So I made the decision that UAE was the right move. Now here's where it goes upside down, right? I started the visa process. I did everything right. I got a consultant that usually deals with this visa stuff. Got my documents attested, everything lined up. And then, unexpectedly, I got rejected. Not because of paperwork, not because of money, because of my ethnic background. Deep that. I'm not going to get into the politics of that, but certain nationalities have a harder time, and apparently I was one of them. And that hurt more than I thought it would. But I thought maybe it was a mistake. Maybe I can try again, right? So I did. Once again, I got rejected. Now at this point, I want you to understand something. I had already quit my job. I was fully committed to the move. I wasn't playing games, I had burned the boats. There was no plan B. So I thought maybe if I get a job there first, the company visa will work, right? That's a guaranteed route. So I applied, I got an interview. I smashed the interview. They gave me an offer, 45,000 dirhams a month. That's around 9,000 pounds a month. This was actually my backup plan that became the main plan. But then I got a call from HR, we're sorry, but your visa application was rejected. I'm not going to lie to you, that fully broke me. I was out of it for weeks after that. I couldn't focus, I couldn't work, I couldn't think straight. Even my mental health at the time, it took a hit in a way I wasn't prepared for. Because it wasn't just about the visa anymore. It was about being told repeatedly that I wasn't wanted. That despite everything I'd built, everything I'd achieved, some things were just out of my control. But I have people around me who don't let me quit. My co-founder, Murad, this guy, he pushed me when I had nothing left. He came with solutions when all I had was problems. He said we're going again when I wanted to give up. So I really appreciate him, man. And I tried one more time. And to my surprise, it actually worked. The entry permit came through. My application was accepted. And after 6 months of rejection, 6 months of instability, 6 months of not knowing if this dream was even possible, I finally had it in my hand. I didn't know how to feel. I was over the moon. Genuinely happy in a way I hadn't felt in months. The UAE move was finally within reach, which is what the whole thing I was waiting for. So naturally, I made the arrangements. I packed up everything, my whole life, once again in suitcases, boxes everywhere, sold what I didn't need, I gave away what I couldn't take, and I booked the flights. I set the date. This time I was going to be in the UAE. Now the night before the move, I couldn't sleep. Not from nerves, but I was just from excitement. It was actually happening, right? My flight was at 11:45 in the morning. But I turned to my dad and I got us to the airport 4 hours early. And if you know, you know. So we got there, checked in all 100 bags, sat in the lounge, watched the time tick down. Now 1 hour to boarding, we walked to the gate. I handed over my boarding pass. The assistant looked at me and asked, "What's your final destination?" I said, "Abu Dhabi." And then she said the words that stopped my whole world. "I'm sorry, sir, flights to the UAE have been cancelled." The Iran situation, the airspace closures and so on. The whole Middle East was on edge and flights weren't going through. 6 months of visa rejections, being told no because of my background, finally getting through, packing my whole life, getting to the gate, and now a conflict on the other side of the world. Something completely outside of my control was stopping me at the finish line. I didn't react. I couldn't. I just sat down. It took a few minutes for it to actually register, for my brain to process what she actually said. Cancelled after everything at the gate, with my whole life in those suitcases. I was numb, lost, I didn't know what to do. I had nothing to say. I waited 3 hours at the airport, got my luggage back, called my mum, I drove to her house. I hadn't slept properly in 3 days at that point. Right, when I got there, I just collapsed, passed out. I couldn't process anything else. I was too tired to process anything. I woke up the next day at my mum's house, and for a second I forgot what happened. And then suddenly a surge just hit me. I was supposed to be in Abu Dhabi right now. At that point, I was meant to be in Abu Dhabi. Instead, I was back at square one. No apartment waiting for me, no new life, just my suitcases in my mum's hallway and a flight ticket that meant nothing. Now, the days after that were rough. I didn't know what to do with myself. The thing I'd been working towards for 6 months that was finally happening was completely gone. And I had no idea when I could try again. Lucky for me, my family was supportive, but there's only so much people can say despite all of this that's been happening. At some point, you just have to sit, you just have to sit in it, man. I spent weeks in limbo, living up in those suitcases. I wasn't unpacking because unpacking meant accepting it wasn't happening. I was refreshing flight updates, watching the news, doing everything I could, hoping things would calm down and I could just go, but they didn't. Every day the conflict just got worse. And at some point I had to make a decision. Am I going to keep living in limbo, or am I going to build something here while I wait? So here I am, 6 months of instability, 6 months of not knowing where I'd be living, what I'd be doing, whether the thing I'd been working towards was even possible, and I'm done with that. Honestly, I'm done with that. My number one priority right now is bringing stability back into my life. First thing was I needed a place, not at my mum's house, not something temporary, a proper place where I could live. So we started looking at viewings, applications and so on. And the London rental market is brutal. If you know this if you've tried it. But we found something, luckily, we found a good area, we signed the lease. Honestly, I was rushing. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just went straight in. And honestly, for the first time in months, I felt like I had my ground under my feet. And then I started building my workspace, because if I'm going to be in the UK for now, I'm going to do it properly. Honestly, the standing desk, my laptop, my screen, it might sound small, but that is literally my whole business. That's what it runs on. After months of working from my mum's kitchen table, from cafes, from chaiwala if you know me, wherever I could find Wi-Fi, and having a dedicated space changes everything. You can't build anything sustainable from chaos. You can survive in chaos, you can hustle through chaos, but you can't build from it. Now, CoderCo kept running because through all of this, I have a team. I have Mo, Murad, Saad, Qais, Najib, everyone. They held it down when I couldn't. So the UAE move is still on the table. I'm not giving up on it, but I'm not chasing it from a place of desperation anymore. First, I stabilize, I get grounded, I build my foundations in the UK properly. Then when the time is right, I'll try again. From a position of strength this time, not survival. If you're watching this and you're in the middle of your own chaos, maybe you're trying to relocate or start a business or even leave a job, change your whole life, I want you to hear this. It's okay for it to be hard. It was never going to be easy. It's okay for things to fall apart, for plans to crumble, for the thing you've been working towards to get ripped away at the last second. What's not okay is staying down, right? What's not okay is letting the setbacks become your identity. What's not okay is giving up on the vision because the timeline changed. The UAE move for me is still happening, inshallah. Maybe not this month, but it is happening. The difference is I'm not chasing it from desperation anymore. I'm building from stability, getting my foundations right. So when I do move, I move properly. My mom always says what's written for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never written for you. Maybe this delays protection. Maybe there's something I needed to learn first. Maybe the timing wasn't right for reasons I can't see yet. I don't know. But one thing I do know is that I trust it. I'm going to document this next chapter, the rebuild, the stability, and eventually the move, the real one, the real move. If you want to follow along, subscribe to this page, turn on notifications. I'll be posting more of these. And if you're trying to break into tech, whether you're in the UK, the UAE, anywhere else, check out CoderCo. I'll put the link in the description. We've helped over 100 people land their first tech jobs. People who were stuck, who didn't know where to start, who thought it wasn't possible for them. We proved them wrong, and we can help you too. Like I said, the link is in the description. I'm Abs, this is my story, and it's not over yet. I'll see you in the next one.